Hey there, Winnie Anderson here, and just wanted to come in and share some thoughts with you that I think, especially since it's the start of the year, it's probably great for us to think about and talk about. This video is inspired by the fact that last night, January 2nd, I believe, yes, is that right? January 2nd? Yes, January 2nd. Sorry, checking the date on my computer. Uh, those in those of us, especially in the Buffalo region, were shocked to see Damar Hamlin, the Bills' safety, collapse on field after a tackle. He experienced a cardiac arrest, and they worked very hard to revive him. I'm going to get choked up just thinking about it. They worked very hard to revive him. As I record this, he is in the hospital and is in critical condition. So please keep him and his family and his teammates in your thoughts and prayers. But it got me to think about how important our own health is. You know, football players are self-employed to a large degree. Yes, they're players on a team, but really they are managers of their own career and their own profitability. They have a short, theoretically, other than Tom Brady, they have a relatively short period when they can play healthfully and safely. And we all know that there are long-term implications, which are particularly sensitive to me since I am a TBI survivor, a traumatic brain injury survivor myself. So I just felt compelled to come in and share some thoughts, as I said, because nothing is more important than your health. I don't care what you tell yourself, that you need more clients, that you need to manage your money, that you need to do all these things. You need to take care of your health, and especially heart health. Heart attack and heart disease are the actual number one killers, especially of women. And it's referred to as a silent killer, and that's true, it is. There are very few symptoms for you to really be tuned into the fact that you may have a heart issue. So this is why it's so important, number one, to get regular physicals and to be well versed in your family history. Heart disease has a genetic component to it. I have a terrible family history of heart issues. My dad had angina and died very young. He died at 48, 49. I have, and my uncle, my favorite uncle, had bypass surgery in his mid 60s. My mom had open heart surgery at, I think she was late 60s, maybe 70. One of my sisters, my oldest sister, had a heart attack in her early 50s. So, and I have high cholesterol. So there are lots of issues here. And, you want to have a long and healthy life. And it starts with making sure that you're taking care of your heart health. So I'm going to include some links below, and I'm going to encourage you to go through them, get familiar with symptoms, but also recognize, as I said, this is a silent killer. So one of the big issues is that this fallacy that high cholesterol automatically means that you're going to have a heart attack and there's something wrong with you. There are plenty of people who have heart attacks. I think it's 50% of the people who have them have low cholesterol. They don't have high cholesterol. So don't let that give you a false sense of security. And there are different types of cholesterol. This isn't a medical video, so please talk to your physician and do your own study and get comfortable with the language of heart health. Also, another very big problem is most of the studies have been done focusing on white men. So these blanket statements about heart health have to do with statistics that probably don't speak to you, right? Women's symptoms for a heart attack are different. We don't always have the classic chest pain. And even then, when we do have that kind of chest pain, it's not always signifying a heart attack, which is part of why we might not get treatment, because you tell yourself it's indigestion, it's a muscle strain, it's any one of a number of things. So pay for an expert to tell you that your chest pain is or is not a heart attack. But don't think, oh, well, I don't have chest pain, so I'm not having a heart attack. You could very well be. So if you are a woman, you are a person of color, you are unlikely to have the exact same symptoms that a white male would have. You also are more likely, if you are female or a person of color, you are more likely to be ignored, to have your symptoms and your concerns about your heart health ignored. So you've got to become your own advocate. So this is super important for those of us, of course, who are self-employed. It's important for everybody, but especially if you are self-employed, you need to make sure that you are taking care of your health, that you are putting mechanisms in place that if something should happen to you, I always refer to it as you get snatched by aliens, if something happens to you, that your business is going to continue. Clients need to have their needs met, right? Yes, it's terrible if something happens, or even if you get a cold, but you've entered into these agreements with folks, and they're sorry, but they do still need to have their projects fulfilled. I interviewed a year or two ago, I interviewed a friend who his business partner died suddenly, had a cardiac incident. And I talked about, what happened and how did he navigate through that? What lessons did he learn? So if you'd like the link to that recording, just say link below and I'll get that to you. But you want to make sure, obviously, that you're taking care of your health, that you're making good choices about what you're consuming, and exercise and stress management, all of that stuff that well, really take it to heart this year. Make this the year that you take this to heart. I have an appointment coming up with a cardiologist because I want to know what is going on in there, and what do I need to do to make sure that I'm as healthy and independent at 97 as I was at 57. So I'm getting checked out, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Work within, obviously, your health insurance, and look for, if you don't have health insurance, look for what ways you have in your state, your local area, to get as much knowledge about your health as you possibly can. So keep in mind, as I said, that your symptoms could be very different than the average white male that studies have been done. So I'm going to include some links below to some articles from the American Heart Association, which hopefully will give you some insight. But back to my point, make sure that you are doing things to make sure that your clients and your business things are going to keep moving forward. If a worst case scenario happens, you get sick, you need to take some time off. Have a network of partners, colleagues who can support you. This is why freelancing can be such a challenge, because if you're a team of one and something happens, you've got a big problem, right? So make sure that you have an extensive network. Make sure that you have things in your agreements that say, that in the event of an emergency, here's what's going to happen. Make sure that you have life insurance, that you have other types of insurance and protections that you need. If you need an insurance agent, let me know. I've got contacts I'm happy to refer to you. You want to make sure that you have emergency contacts. That I talk to one of my best friends every day virtually. If she hasn't heard from me, she'll say, hey, I hope everything's okay. And I do the same with her. So make sure that you've got some kind of mechanism to keep people abreast of what's going on and just check in regularly. Make sure that people can get your passwords, that they know where to go for your client information. Somebody is designated as the person who will reach out and talk to them. When I was in my car accident, I was laying in my hospital bed telling my husband, here's, you need to call this person. I was working at the time, call me out of work. You need to call this person who's my personal trainer. You need to, because I had an appointment, tell all these people that, what's happened to me. So have this kind of stuff written down and make sure somebody knows how to access that information. I know it's, can feel depressing to talk about it, but it's reality. So make sure that you are taking great care of yourself. Again, if you are a woman or a person of color, people will not always believe that you think you're having a heart attack. They might brush your symptoms aside. Don't let them. Be your own advocate loudly if necessary, and make sure that you are on top of your health. You are on top of your family history, especially for heart-related issues, and make sure that you make this year the year that you take good care of your heart and yourself. So as I mentioned, I'm going to have some links below. I hope they are helpful. I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. I'm just a concerned citizen, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you about this. So take good care of yourself. I'm going to go see a cardiologist this month, and I hope you do the same and take good care of yourself too. Bye for now. I will see you in another video soon. Oh, and if you want that link to the recording of me interviewing a friend whose business partner passed away, let me know. All right, bye.